morning to you on this rainy Saturday. Isn't it a great day to just lay around and do nothing?
It is.
But you all are here, so I appreciate you being here bright and early. So I hope this morning I can give you some nuggets that you can take away based on my 11-year journey in this space. And I am so happy that Dawn started this organization because I kept looking around for women to join me because this is such a male-dominated industry. So I will say congrats to you all to taking the leap and just even looking and exploring this space as an opportunity. Because I'll be very honest, depending on what you do and how much your price points are, it's more money in the government and corporate sector. So welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my screen. And Dawn, I'm going to share my PowerPoint, but I'm going to correct one thing and I'll brag about it in a second.
Sure.
And that is that it's changed from 2.1 to 3.5 million.
Oh, excuse me, LaPronda. Congratulations. I pulled it from LinkedIn, so thank you. Good to know.
Thank you. I need to update that then. All right, so just so you all know, the small business certification really is a tool to get your small business certified to do business with the government and major corporations. It's just a tool. It's a way to make money, but also diversify your revenue, unless you choose to make it your way of making money in this space, the only way. I don't suggest that. I always say diversify your revenue that way. And for this particular presentation, my objective in this presentation, you'll learn, of course, an intro about me, some of which Dawn has already given you and my company. We're going to do a brief overview of the steps from certification to landing your contract, because certification is only the first step. I do want to tell you what small business certification is and why it may be of interest to you. There is this alphabet soup of certification, so you hear all kinds of acronyms thrown around, the types of certifications that are available, that certifying agencies. And then I want to make sure you understand the value and the benefits of getting certified. And then some valuable tips. I'll also sneak in some myths, because I know some of you all had a question about what are some of the myths that I've heard that may or may not be true. And then I'll also go into a little more detail. And I know somebody asked about logos. And then I'll talk to you about some next steps and a call to action. So that is what you can expect out of this presentation this morning. Now, disclaimer, because I have to say this is for informational purposes only. I am not an attorney. I am not an accountant. And every now and then somebody will ask me something that's financial related or a legal question. And so I can give you feedback, but I am not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice, and I'm not an attorney. I'm an accountant, so I can't give you financial advice. So if you don't have one, make sure you have a lawyer or some certified public accountant or an accountant on tap. So that's my disclaimer. So, and you all just did this, so I don't have to ask this again, because we asked about who was in the room, and you already gave your name, and I see many of you on here that I already know, and the name of your business. What I didn't ask was if you had certifications, but some of you all mentioned that you have them. So I won't go into a lot of that. So I'll skip through that because Dawn beat me to the punch. But I will say that Lane Consulting really is an award-winning consulting firm. We're headquartered here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we do business for everyone across the country. So I have clients all over, because typically every state has a program for you to do business with them. And many local towns and cities also have these programs. So I'm not telling you to get certified just because. I'm telling you because I'm also certified, and it has paid dividends for me. So I am Hub certified, for those of you who know that you should get certified with the state and the city first. I'm North Carolina SBE certified. And what that means is you can be minority certified and small business certified, or if you're a white woman, you can be WBE certified. Now, I know a lot of people have questions about that, and we'll go into a little more details about that, but only white women, believe it or not, are typically certified as a woman-owned business at the local and state level in the government sector. For the city of Charlotte, I am MBE certified, of course, that's minority-owned. Then I have certifications with the Department of Transportation, because I think some of you all miss that there is opportunity with the Department of Transportation, because what you hear is transportation and you think you don't fit in there. But they hire consultants and coaches all the time. They hire graphic designers, et cetera, all the time. So don't overlook this. And they have a ton more money because they have both federal and state dollars. So I am certified as a DBE, what they call a disadvantaged business enterprise, and that typically covers MBE and WBE, again, the alphabet soup. And then I am also what they call SPSF, which is small professional services firm. For those of you who are in a sector that's outside of construction, typically you're going to fall in this space, which is small professional services firm, or what we call SPSF. Believe it or not, the Housing Authority here also has what we call a Section 3 business concern. It's in Livian here, for those of you who are in the Charlotte sector, but they also have contracts that they do. So if you are looking to do branch out and do other areas, the Housing Authority may be something that you look at. And then I'm registered as a vendor. So some agencies have actual certification processes and some just make you register as a vendor. And so I am registered with Mecklenburg County, Union County, Guilford County, and then I'm also registered in the city of Winston-Salem and Asheville. You can get registered in the city of Concord. I mean, you run the gamut. You can get certifications and vendor registrations. So that's a little bit about my company there. Yes, we are award winning. I'm very proud of that. And as I mentioned, we've helped our own company and other clients get up to 3.5 million in grants and contracts. And my biggest hit was when I helped many of my clients stay in business during the pandemic. Dawn, you have your hand up?
No, I'm clapping. That's yeah.
Okay, got it. So 3.5 million, and that story was as a result of Dawn Nicole. She referred me to WCNC. It aired during February, and it absolutely exploded my calendar. So I am eternally grateful to you, Dawn, for making that record referral, because it was really surprising how that took off. My company has been, is currently a nominee for the Diversity Advocate of the Year with the City of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. I've also received the Impact 50 Award with Career Mastered. And my favorite is that I was featured in 2021 during the pandemic as one of the top 100 Black-owned businesses by the New York Times. That was a shocker, and I'm still elated about that recognition. I've been nominated as a Woman Business Enterprise of the Year, which was the wrong category, but somebody did nominate me. And then I've been in others. I've been, selected as the Women in Business Achievement Award with the Charlotte Business Journal. It goes on and on. So I'm grateful for the recognition that my company has received over the years. What do we do? You're like, girl, you done got all these awards and you done got all this money. Now, what in the world do you do? So most of you know me because I help small businesses get certified. So I'm one of those folks that it isn't that you can't do certification yourself, but if you want to stay great in what you do and stay in your sphere of genius, then many of them hire me and my company to help you all get certified. We also help with marketing tools in this sector because marketing in this space is different than passing out business card and networking events and eating chicken wings and drinking wine. It's just a little bit different. And so I try to help you with the marketing tools to make you successful in this space. And then we do some business development services because we really want our small business owners to get in front of the right people. A lot of times the gatekeeper to get to the decision maker who can write the check and sign the contract. So that is really what I love to do, is see people thrive here. On the government side, and that's what I do for small businesses, on the government side, they hire us for public outreach and engagement because I think I know how to bring people in the room, as does Dawn Nicole. They even hire us to help small businesses get certified. So believe it or not, the government will hire us to help you get certified. I've done assessments of businesses and business plan development for many of them who are certified. And the reason is because they have to spend money with us. That's a win in and of itself. They're supposed to spend money with us. And so they have us to come in as a small business working with others to help you move through the platform and through the system to, land your first contract. We do a lot of education and training. I teach a lot for the community colleges, and I do some disparity studies, and then of course, consultations and technical assistance for many of the community colleges. So that's a little bit about my business. And no, I don't do all of this by myself. Trust me. Some of this, some of the work that we're currently doing or have done recently is I've worked with the DOT. So again, they hired us as a DBE to do assessments and SWOT analysis and technical assistance with other firms that are certified to do business with the Department of Transportation. I'm currently on a contract with the North Carolina Hub Office and Department of Administration to do what they call Minority Women Business Enterprise Supportive Services, meaning we get to work with you and help you grow. We've done community outreach and engagement for a lot of disparity studies for Winston-Salem, Asheville, here in Charlotte. And then many of you know me from running County Commissioner League's Small Business Consortium. I did that for about 4 years. And then again, I do a lot of teaching and coaching at the community colleges, and I do what is trademarked as a fast track to contracts boot camp. So what you're going to hear today is some of the language and content from my boot camp that is trademarked, because I wanted to make sure that you all understood the language, understood the process, and understood the fastest ways to get to contracts and hopefully win, as opposed to running around in circles, which is what I did for 2 years when I first started in business. So I'm hoping that it helps you understand it a little bit better. My story is like many of you. I jumped off the corporate bandwagon because I was tired of corporate America. And what I tell people is I had what I call the case of a horrible boss, but she was cleverly disguised as an angel. Can you believe that? And I knew if I didn't leave, and do I have permission to be honest?
You have total permission to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I knew in that last meeting that if I didn't leave, I was going to jump across the table. And then y'all would have seen me on the news for all the wrong reasons, right? So I had been side hustling my business for a while. And believe it or not, my background is in public health. And I was managing large grants for the hospitals. And so I understood the language from that side. And so when I left, I had already been working with nonprofits and started to see significant results from me writing grants for them. And so I quit on October 5th, was my last day in corporate. Within a week, I was in a contract with a nonprofit. And then within 2 months, I was in a contract with an agency that was building a multi-resource center for veterans. I got certified to do business with government because while I understand the nonprofit world, I never wanted to be a nonprofit. I wanted to own my business and make my own money. And after I got certified, I landed a contract 6 months from the day I quit and 90 days after I got certified. What's funny is many people will tell you in these offices that it's going to take you about 2 years to land your first contract. And I was like, no, that's not true. So we defied the odds, and small business owners saw that and asked me what I had done. And so really, I landed here by accident because I was not working with for-profit companies doing certifications. I was actually working with nonprofits, but it was so easy for them to come and ask me what to do. And so I started helping people get certified, and here I am. And that was a game changer for me because I realized how much money the government will pay you. And it is far more than what corporate America wants to pay you by hour, or what they call salaried. And so that was the game changer for me. And so how many of y'all know you want to make money? Raise your hand, or at least type in the chat, say more money here, Lord. So with that being said, here's what I learned over the 2 years that I was running around trying to figure this thing out called certifications in government contracting. Is the first thing is certification. That's the first part. That's just the paperwork. It's just registering your business within their systems. That's the first part. The second is you have to do your research and homework on your avatar or client. So by that, I mean, do you know what the Department of Transportation sells? Do you know whether they buy what you sell? Do you know what the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department sells? You need to do your research on them. And then you want to market to them. And again, this is not chicken wings and even wine at a networking event. How do you do business and market to them? It's just a little bit different. That's the third step. The one that I spend the most time at is relationship building, because this is a longer sales process, but it is more lucrative. So you have to go in, they still do business with who they know, like, and trust. So make sure you build a relationship. And then lastly, after you've done all of these things, then you start talking about pitching to land your first contract. And it sounds long, but there are some ways that you can cut through the red tape. So those are the 5 steps that I typically teach in the government contracting bootcamp. But today we're going to just talk about certifications. Everybody good so far? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what is certification? So I'm going to ask Rachel, unmute yourself and read that first bullet for me. What is the small business certification?
Application and vetting process used by states, cities, counties, the federal government, and major corporations.
Yeah, so it's simply an application process. Nothing more, nothing less. The beauty is they're vetting you. They want to make sure that you're in business, have a legal entity and a viable business. And then I'm going to ask Carla, if you can hear me, unmute yourself and read bullet 2.
I am actually driving. I'm
I
so
can read it.
sorry, but I
Okay.
didn't want to miss. I'm in DC right now.
Oh,
I can
no,
read
okay.
it.
No problem. Dawn, go ahead. Y'all didn't know I was going to call on you, did you? Yeah.
No, that's how you keep us engaged, though. So
Stand on your
bullet
toes. Go ahead.
bullet 2. So developed to provide contract opportunities for firms that meet the eligibility criteria.
Yeah, so there's criteria you have to meet.
Mhm.
And so again, it's an application process, they're vetting you, and then there's eligibility criteria. I'm going to go into that in a little bit. But more importantly, it helps you as a firm compete against others that are comparably positioned in the market. So the beauty is there's ways to make money even as a small business, and there's ways to make business working with larger companies. So just know that there are ways. I can keep going on and on, but basically what it says is you give smaller businesses with set annual gross incomes, excluding materials, the opportunity to participate in construction, professional, and other services, as well as state buy goods and supplies. So there's opportunity for you somewhere in there. Very rarely have I had to turn anybody away to say that there was no opportunity for them. So that's the small business certification. It's just an application process. Now here's the alphabet soup. You're going to hear terms like MBE and WBE and SBE and HUB and DBE. All these are acronyms in this space. Minority is typically those of us who are of African American, Pacific Islander, Native American descent, Hispanic, etc. Woman-owned businesses, believe it or not, in the local and state level are only white women. I cannot stress that enough. People want to argue with me about LaPronda, why can't I be a minority and a woman as an African-American woman? That is not how their systems are set up. So in the Charlotte and North Carolina market, you will not be considered a WBE if you are African-American or Hispanic and a woman, okay? SBE, everybody qualifies for SBE because we all are small businesses. So you can have both minority and small, or if you're a white female, then you can be WBE and small. Section 3 business concern is the housing authority certification. Everybody's eligible for that as either a minority or a woman. And then of course you all know that HUB is the state's certification process. DBE is the North Carolina Department of Transportation's process. And then you'll hear AAWSB, which is woman-owned small business, economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, veteran-owned. All those are at the federal level. I won't touch on federal today. I'm just giving you the acronyms just so you're aware of it. So I typically focus on MBE, WBE, SBE, and then really HUB and DBE in the local and state level. Questions about that? I know that's a lot. I'm throwing out a lot of acronyms.
Hey, LaPronda, one thing, this is so good, by the way, and I think the people who came last week are starting to see the difference between the corporate, local, and state. Next week we'll have federal. Question for you, can you just touch on the ACDBE real fast, which is the airport concession? Because someone just sent me a private message like, where's the ACDBE in this? So if you want to.
Yeah, you know what, that's an oversight on my part. So thank you for
That's
bringing
okay.
that up.
That's okay.
So ACDBE is a part of the North Carolina Department of Transportation, and that's for those of you who want to offer services and concessions within the airports. Now, here's what many of us think. We think, well, I'm in the Charlotte market, so the only thing I can focus on is the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, but Concord has an airport, Asheville has an airport. So if you are interested in doing services, whether it's products, setting up a stand, a restaurant, or anything in the airports, you're typically going to do ACDBE as well. You can do both, DBE and ACDBE. The only thing is the Department of Transportation, when they do your case review and when they do what they call a site visit, they will ask for clarification about what specifically you're offering to them to make sure that it qualifies for ACDBE. But yes, you can do it. So if you're interested in doing business in the airports, that is one of the certifications that you'll also go after in addition to DBE. Good? Perfect. All right. So here's the certifying agencies that we talk about. Of course, the federal government, and that is probably the one that most people are familiar with. And so many times what I have to tell my clients is, you do know that you can be a superstar in the state and the city that you're in? So when I was in business, when I first started, I was a single parent of a 9-year-old. And so I needed to be a star in the city and town that I lived in. And so I focused on local and state. So there's federal certifying agencies, there's city certifying agencies, there's state, and then what we call quasi-government is Charlotte Housing Authorities is what they consider a quasi-governmental agency. County is Mecklenburg County, Cabarrus County, Guilford County, those are county government, and then private sector. So when you hear federal, city, state, county, you're gonna hear the terms public sector. That's what that means. And then on the private sector, that's typically your major corporations or very large businesses, okay? And again, I'm just throwing it out. It'll take a while for you to hear these things, for it to click, but I'm giving it to you. So and feel free to take pictures. Now, I don't give my slides to people, but you can take pictures of all of this stuff if you want, just to remember. So again, these certifications in these programs, you'll hear what we call an MWSBE program. Again, the Housing Authority Section 3 Business Concern, Hub Office, where most of us will go to get certified, excuse me, here in the state of North Carolina. The Department of Transportation Certification Program, that DBE, ACDBE, really is a federal level certification. They just have it in every state. So what you will notice if you ever go after this certification is it is much more stringent and requires more documents than any of the others because it's a federal level certification. But once you get it, you got it. So you want to do any type of business in the airports or any modes of transportation, that is certification. GSA schedule is a federal level program. If you are looking to do business with federal agencies. And then of course, we've all heard about the Small Business Administration. And they're the ones that house the 8A WSB, EDWSB, Veteran-Owned Small Business Services Able, and then what we call the Hub Zone. Some of you have heard the Hub Zone, and a lot of times we get those mixed up with what we hear is North Carolina Hub versus Federal's Hub Zone. Hub is strictly historically underutilized business in the state of North Carolina. Hub Zone is a federal level program and it's based on where your business's headquarters is. So it's literally putting an address in and seeing if you are located in a socioeconomically distressed area. So believe it or not, when I was living in the university area in a brand new subdivision, that area was zoned as Hub Zone. So I could qualify for that program. So again, it's a program that depends on where you're located. And then many of you have heard what we call CVMSDC, or Carolinas Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council. Out of all the certifications you just heard me talk about, federal and state and local certifications have no filing fee. It is free. People just pay me if they want help to do it for them. But if you go to CVMSDC, they have a $400 filing fee and you have to get renewed every year. And I think the renewal fee is $350, and that's to work with major corporations, whether you get a contract or not. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about who you want to do business with. Also, at the federal, local, and state government levels, there's more transparency, meaning you can access the proposals and the contracts because it's public information. On the private sector side, or what CVMSDC handles, not so quick. Not so open, not so transparent, unless you have a great relationship internally. So that's a little bit about that. Are we still good? Everybody?
We're good. Quick question in the chat. You know, I'm
Yes.
your aide today. I'm helping you.
Oh, good.
One of the questions was, hey, how do I determine if I'm in the Hub Zone? And I think you kind of you have to do that submission and they determine it based on your, do you want to just touch on that real fast? Just read
Sure.
it.
So
Okay.
on the Small Business Administration site, you'll be able to do a drop-down box that shows you all the programs, and Hub Zone is one of them. Go to Hub Zone and then click into that system. You'll have to click in and it'll allow you to put your address in to the system. And it'll spit out whether you are or are not in a Hub Zone, whether it's a green, a yellow, or red, or something like that. But green typically means you are in the Hub Zone and it'll say it. So that's how you find out. And had I known, I would have been able to, kind of go out and show you that, but for the sake of time, I want to be respectful of time. I don't have, but I'll teach these classes again, so I'll make sure that Dawn knows that.
Yeah.
So we'll add that the next time. Are we good?
We're great. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we When we talked about the small business certification, we said that there was eligibility criteria. So here's some of the criteria. You have to be a for-profit company. You cannot be a nonprofit in this space. I have people calling all the time saying they want to get certified and they have a nonprofit. The reason is nonprofits, you don't own a nonprofit. It is owned by the public, but a for-profit entity has an owner. And so as a for-profit entity, you are eligible. There are some personal net worth and income limits. For the city of Charlotte, I believe the income limit, you cannot make more than or have more assets than 750,000, but that excludes your primary home as well as retirement. So they ask you about that. They make you do what we call a personal net worth statement, and you have to list out all your assets and all your liabilities. You have to be 51% owned by a minority and or a woman. If you have a partner, then it is based on who has the most shares. If both entities are minority owned, it's 100% ownership. If one person is a white female and the other person is African American, it depends on how they structure the ownership. Is it 51-49? Is it 50-50? You have to be clear about it being 51% owned by a minority or woman. You can be a solopreneur, a micropreneur, 1 to 49 employees or 50 plus employees. It depends on the size standards run by the SBA. So that's a little bit about that. And one of the questions that I know will come up is, and if I am in North Carolina, when can I get certified? And believe it or not, you can be in business for a day, an hour, and you can get certified immediately. Dawn Nicole, because she's in South Carolina, has to wait a year. So you have to be in business for 1 full year before you can go after certification. The beauty is you can get certified in your home state first. You have to be certified in your home state. And then after that, you can get certified in any state across the country. But it has to be certified in the home state first. Questions about that? Any questions? No?
Yes, we do have a question, and this is great that people are putting them in the chat. So there are 2 questions. One is this based on where you live or where your business is located? That's a great question, right? Are they following where you? Yeah,
That's a great question. It's where your business is located. So here's what happens. I've had people to say, I registered my business in Delaware. Well, then we're going to have to get you certified in Delaware first, and then you can come to North Carolina and get certified. Because it is based on where the headquarters of the business is. Okay, next question.
Yep, the second question, and this one comes up a lot with our member base. The question is, hey, and this asking me privately, I guess. Hey, it says, I am a part of a business where I'm a partner. So there are a lot of these like financial agencies, lawyers, people who have a partner share and they're a principal, right? But it's part of a parent company. I've been telling them, LaPronda, you can correct me if this is wrong, that you, the woman, has to solely own the business wholeheartedly in order to take advantage of some of these women-owned certifications. But what do you say to that?
So it depends. So I have people that are franchises and they are in partnerships. It's just how it's structured.
Okay.
So if she's a partner and she may be white woman owned, and her partner is also a female white woman, and they own, say, 60% combined, they would be eligible. If she owns 15% and then everybody else is a white male, the only thing she'd be eligible for is to be a small business enterprise in that entity. Because the majority is white men, and so they can only be small, even though she has a small share in it, partnership in it. So it just depends. So there are always these one-offs.
Okay.
And so typically we'll have a conversation with the hub office to see where they would fall. But
okay.
Again,
they're in financial services, it looks like. So like, okay, cool. We can talk more about this. See, LaPronda, this is why she's a partner. All right, keep going, LaPronda.
No problem. All right. So what does it entail? What do I need if I want to get certified? Because you said it's an application process, but what all will they ask me for? They're going to ask you for proof of citizenship. So your driver's license, a birth certificate, a voter registration card, a military ID, or a green card if you have citizenship, but are from another country. Proof of ethnicity. If you're claiming to be minority owned, they have a document that you can get signed in front of a notary stating she sat before me, she's an African-American female, I'm signing off on this. Or if your birth certificates or anything that you have list race and ethnicity, then they'll use that, but it has to be a legitimate document. Most of us who have birth certificates from, and I'll date myself, from the 70s and before, may have race and ethnicity on it, but at some point they stopped putting it on there. So just know that. So typically we have to take that ethnicity affidavit to a notary. But there are also some places need tax returns. So the state of North Carolina started requiring you to submit tax returns. That was new. They didn't do that before, but they are now. The city of Charlotte requires tax returns, or what they call a balance sheet. So if you've been in business for a day or a week, you don't necessarily have a tax return. So then you can use a balance sheet to upload the information. And guess what? Some of you all aren't even operational yet. So guess what the balance sheet will have on it? All zeros. But you're still submitted because they asked. If you're in an office space, a signed lease, articles of incorporation, if you're an S Corp or a C Corp, if you filed as a corporation, articles of organization, if you're an LLC or PLLC, and then if you're a sole proprietor, and this is where many people miss. So they'll say I'm in business and I'm a sole proprietor, but they never go register their names with the county of deeds. If you are a sole proprietor, please, please, please go to the Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds or Cabarrus County or wherever you are and file the name. It's only $26. It's just reserving the name so nobody else takes it. I've had a situation where somebody said they were a sole proprietor, and when I said you need to go file the name, somebody else had already taken it. So what does that happen? They've been doing business all this time that way, and now they can't use the name anymore. So just
LaPronda, can you repeat? So a number of people, you just got their attention. If they were asleep, they're up now. So could you repeat that part? Is so important. We go where and tell them why again, because people are asking questions.
So you're going to go to the Register of Deeds, whatever county you're in, whether it's Mecklenburg County, Gaston County, Cabarrus County, or even if you're in South Carolina, go to the county there and file with the Register of Deeds. And what you're simply filing is a document saying that this is the name of my business. I'm the owner. Here's the address, and you sign off on it. It costs $26. You don't even have to pay that every year. You pay it one time, but it allows you to reserve the name. I always suggest that my clients do that first if they're just getting started, and then file for the EIN. Because what happens is if that name doesn't get approved because somebody has already taken it, or they've been doing business all this time and have an EIN, now they got to go back to the IRS to get all of that changed. So I always say, make sure you have something in place saying, I have reserved this name for my business. It is mine. Any other questions?
Golden. No, that's the right there. That's the whole, you could just stop there if you wanted to. It's so good. Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
For those of you who are LLCs, I know many of you were like, what is an operating agreement? You're supposed to have an operating agreement. It is basically telling what the purpose of your business is, how you pay yourself. If you have officers, who's the owner, who's the registered agent, where you're located, all that's an operating agreement. And it's good to have because many of you are doing business and at some point you may take on a partner or you expand and grow. The operating agreement helps you to move through that. Talks about when you're going to divvy out bonuses or any surplus. That's about how you're going to divvy up the profits, how you vote. All of that's a part of the operating agreement. And then if you're an S Corp or a C Corp, or if you file as a corporation, you have to have corporate bylaws. Now here's the beauty. You can get operating agreement, corporate bylaws, a stock certificate, shareholders agreement, meeting minutes on rocketlawyer.com. So rocketlawyer.com will allow you to go and create these, and really they make it so simple because you go on, you tell them what document you need, and then it's drop down boxes and fill in the blanks. And it's free if you do the 7-day trial. So let me help you not spend any money, but put these documents in place, because if you get certified, they're going to ask you for these. Even if you're a single member LLC or if you're a corporation of one, you're going to have to provide them some of this. If you're in transportation, they want a haul authority, a US DOT number, titles, etc. Questions about that? And let me go back. And on average, If you submit all these documents and the application, it takes them about, on average, 30 days to get approved, as long as you submit everything needed and there is no hiccups. Yes, Dawn.
There's a lot of questions in the chat. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's good. That's how you know it's good.
Good.
So
Go.
questions that are coming to me and all over the chat. So the question is, going back to, they're really interested in this registered deed library thing with the name. Was that for any and all? So the question is that for any and all business, or is it just LLCs? Like if you have an S,
Only a sole proprietor.
sole proprietor, ladies. So
Only for
okay.
sole proprietors.
And the question was, what about a DBA? Do you need to do the same if you have
If you have a DBA for under your LLC, yes.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
And then someone said in multiple counties, they said, hey, if I registered in one county, is it good, or do I need to go to different counties?
One county, wherever you're headquartered.
There you are. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry about this.
No problem. Good questions.
Good question.
Benefits of certification. What positions your company to do business with government? That's the biggest thing. You're in their system. They know how to find you. And when they're looking for somebody that offers the things that you offer, you're in their system. Number two, positions your company for success in landing the contracts. Because one of the things that many of them say is, are you certified when you go meet with them? And if you say no, they're gonna say, go back and get certified. Why? Because it's a win-win for both of you. Number two, you're diversifying your revenue. You can have small business clients and government clients, or you can have corporate clients and government clients. It's a way to diversify your revenue. And then the beauty is when you get certified and you go after these contracts, you can hire employees under the contracts. You increase the sustainability of your company, because a lot of these contracts are longer term. There's not just one-off, well, I spent money one time and that's the end. I'm on a contract right now that is in my second year, and we have the option to go 2 additional years. Working, invoicing every month. So that's the benefit. What do they purchase? Well, on the government side, they purchase every freaking thing, because everywhere you see a crane, there's a building going up, they're purchasing. It's concrete, drywall, hauling services, plumbing, electrical services, painting, landscaping, you name it. They even purchase drone technology in construction, because somebody has to take the pictures from above to see how the progress is going. So just know that there's all kinds of opportunities in the construction side. On the professional and other services sides, where many of us land, they hired marketing, web design, catering, temp staffing, proposal writing and project management, technology, even online course development, transportation services, real estate, in-home aid, coaching and consulting. We can run the gamut. They're purchasing everything. In addition to that, for those of you who sell widgets and gadgets and supplies and goods, they purchase pens, pencils, papers, computer, furniture, toilet paper, paper towels, water, soda, anything you walk in and see, they purchased it from somebody. They're outsourcing this stuff. So this is what they purchase. And when they purchase from me, here are some examples of what they purchased from me. Sometimes I'm just a scheduling coordinator for small business owners and prime contractors. I'm doing in-depth interviews on disparity studies. We do audio recording of the interviews. We have somebody transcribe them. And then we do full report write-ups. You think I do all of this by myself? Absolutely not. I have a team. I get to hire other great small business owners, and all of my team are other women. So you talking about making this money? Yes, ma'am. Well, come on and join me over here. I'm trying to help everybody. The other thing I do is public outreach and participation. So what Dawn Nicole does when she gathers you all in a room and say, we need to learn, or let me introduce you to these things, that's public outreach and education and participation. Dawn, you're missing your win in that space alone because you have the folks.
Oh, I just put it, look, I just added it to my core capability.
Absolutely.
I got it together now, honey.
Okay.
I'm good now.
And then I actually was one of the folks that the DOT hired under a team to go out and do the case reviews for people who were applying for the certification. And then I was the person doing a site visit and making a recommendation of whether they should be approved or not. So I know all the questions they're going to ask you. I know what you're going to get in trouble with if you say the wrong thing. And I have had to deny people certification. They were pissed, but I had to, so I know that process in and out because I've been in it from the inside. They trained me as if I was one of their staff. So
So
Just
I
so you
need to see you. I need to come see you is what you,
Yes,
we need to come. We need,
please.
okay.
But then I also get to work with small business owners. So the Department of Transportation hired me to work on your business plan so that we can position you for opportunities within agencies, so we can make the connection, so you can meet with them, pitch your business. They can tell you what's coming up. Like all of that, I love seeing us win. And so they just started hiring me to do it for them. And I'm on this contract now with MBDA, with the North Carolina Hub Office for that same reason. So you all don't think hard. Some of this is simple, it's admin work, but they pay you well. So don't overthink it. And if you have questions about specifically what you do, let me know. On average, my sales are around 75,000 a year per contract. And I'm running multiple contracts at the same time. And a lot of my contracts are 6 to 12 months, but the contract that I'm on currently, the first year was 6 months, 50,000. Right now, we're on the second phase of that, 48K over 4 months. And then we have the option to renew, which will be a 6-figure contract in the next, beginning July 1st. And on average, I'm only working 20 hours a month, and I get to hire other folks. So I have 4 other people on my team. And in this new phase, I'll get to hire 2 additional coaches to help us. So look, there's money to be made. Examples of women winning out here. So one of my clients won a contract with CMS, Amplified Learning Center, Angela Peterson. She's a former school teacher. She started a tutoring company, 2 years, $1 million. I have a client, I don't know if many of you may know Paradigm 360 because some of us went through them for coaching. They're a coach training program, $400K for a contract in Roanoke. And then I had a client who's 25 years old. She does dessert catering, and she kept pursuing a contract with the city of Charlotte and finally landed one recently. It was such a big win for her because she's 25. She's doing cupcakes for them for an event that's coming up. It was $2,000, but that counts as performance. And what they love to hire are subject matter experts who can do this work. Yes, Dawn.
Okay, so we got 10 minutes left and the chat is going crazy. So first of all, listen, you're saying these things where the coffee spills. They're like, wait a minute, say what? So this is what I'd like to do. I know you're probably coming to a close, but I'm gonna just tell you right now with the last 10 minutes left. Women are like, what's my next step? What's step 1? How do we work together? You're a QCWIB partner. Should we take 1 or 2 questions and then you give us or you tell me what you want to do with the time we have left?
Well, I'm close to the end, so let me get one
Okay.
more slide in.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so why get certified? Again, it opens doors. The buyers are looking for you. It's a win-win for everybody. So please know, get certified. The value is if they have to choose between you as a certified firm who's in their system versus somebody who's not, by being certified, you're helping them meet their contracting goals. They're supposed to spend money with us. So it increases your value to them. It increases your value to other clients who can hire you on, and there are greater opportunities for partnership. You'll miss these opportunities because these bids are coming straight into our emails. But the first thing they're going to say is, are you certified? Some myths, everybody thinks they're going to do a credit check. If that was the case, I wouldn't have got certified 12 years ago because, honey, that credit was towed up at the time. Okay, so let's get clear. They don't check your credit. They don't do criminal background checks, believe it or not. So I have a lot of folks who are felons and they couldn't find jobs, so they had to start businesses, and many of them are doing extremely well. So if you have brush ups in the law, please know they're not going to look at that. Many of you think you have to have an office space and you got to go lease an office. You do not. I have always worked from home because they want you to go where the work is. So do whatever works, do the work. And then some of you think I don't have enough experience. I'm not an expert. I don't have a degree. Stay with the expert whatever you said you do, be the best at it, know it inside and out. They don't look at degrees. They just want to know that you've done this at least 3 times with somebody. And sometimes it means you just volunteered somewhere. You can put that down. Sometimes it may just be a one-day thing that you did, but they just want to know that you've done it already. So what should you do next? Contact the MWSBE Program Coordinator, Supply Diversity Specialist at the agency, schedule an appointment, preferably face-to-face. Get clear about whether they buy what you sell. You get to ask those questions. And if they buy what you sell, ask which departments buy. Ask about previous contracts awarded, and then ask them for the winning proposal and all proposals submitted because it's public information. It's important because you get to see what they buy, how they structured everything, what's the competitive advantage, how much they paid, etc. Please make your meetings face-to-face if you can make them, and if not, make them virtual. Why? Because there's a thing called informal contracts that most of us don't know. Informal contracts means they don't have to bid it out. If it's under a certain amount and they like you, they can write that contract directly to you. And I've had a sole sourced contract where they said, LaPronda, this is what we want. We need a 3-page proposal and don't make it more than $50,000. They signed off in 2 weeks and I started working. So noted that other formal contracts will be bid out. It just depends on the amount. Final tips, certifications alone are not enough. If you don't meet with agency reps, you're going to miss out on informal opportunities. The customer is buying you first, then your services, and the certifying agency is not going to come looking for you. You have to be proactive in this space. I know you have questions, and here's my call to action if you want to get started with me. Okay, go.
Oh, okay. So listen, I think, okay. So first of all, can we just clap it up for LaPronda? Let's just clap first of all, because everyone
Amazing.
yeah, everyone is hitting the hotline. Okay. Like the chat is a hotline right now. So
Okay.
first of all, let me just edify these packages for what she just gave us. They should be thousands and thousands and thousands. And LaPronda has made it terribly, wonderfully affordable for the QCWIB community. So thank you, first of all, for that. So LaPronda, women should see you, if they want to get certified, but they should also take up your consultancy if they are certified and they need the best strategy for moving forward in that local and government space. So don't just look at these packages and think, ladies, oh, this is for people certified. Look at that a la carte and more, and LaPronda's going to get you right, because that's what she does.
Yes,
So yeah, go ahead, LaPronda.
For those who are on here that are already certified, here's my bonus. If you are interested in working with us as a part of the MBDA program, it gives us the opportunity to coach and consult with you and position you for opportunities at the expense of the government. They are paying us to work with you. So if that is the case, please come see me or send an email to me. Here's my info. We're enrolling as we speak. And again, we're on this for the next 3 months, and then they're going to renew for an additional 1.5 to 2 years. I get to work with you. I get to position you for opportunities. I get to assist you with getting in the room and work with the right people, simply because you took the time out of your day this morning to be here. So please, if you are interested, by all means.
LaPronda, can I add to that? And then we're going to take a question. And so to reiterate what LaPronda said, when she first told me about this partnership, this was probably a month ago. And I wanted to take this information that you guys could work with her for free and give it to all of our members. And LaPronda said, no, let's wait. Let's only give it first to the people who come to my webinar on March 9th. And that's you. So I want you to know that LaPronda gave you all VIP priority. Take her up on this today, because I'm a bang it out next week to all the members. So she asked me to hold this information just for you all today. So take advantage of it, and I can take 1 or 2 questions. Tiffany's hand is up. Tiffany, feel free to come up with you.
Yes, good morning again. Just a quick question on that MBDA. I actually found out about that a couple of weeks ago through an out-of-state entity in Florida. If I'm already signed up through them, is there a possible way to transfer to here locally and work with you locally?
You can,
Okay.
yes. It's actually better because
yeah, that's what I was thinking now.
Because you're in the state. Yeah. So
okay. So I'll reach out to you separately. Thank you.
Yeah, so just send me an email saying I'm interested in MBDA, and I'll send you back the email with you to with a Calendly for you to enroll.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for your question. The second question, just for clarity, the program you just offered our members here and our guests on this webinar, LaPronda, clarification, is it just for those who are already certified, or is it for people who want to get certified and then take advantage of the program? Can you clarify?
I prefer those who are already certified, but we can accept anybody. It's just it's going to take longer because you haven't gone through the certification. So you're talking about 30 days from now, finally getting certified, then we get to enroll you, and then it's going to take a little, and by then we're ending the fiscal year. So yes, you can do it. I'm not going to turn you away, but we're not going to do the certifications for you. Now you can pay for that part. We're not going to do them for you.
That's right.
we will certainly help you navigate the space.
Thank you, LaPronda. And I just wanted to also add, this is the power of you all being members. I just want to harp on that, right? Because LaPronda is going to actually leverage the Queen City Women in Business community as much as possible to help meet this demand, right? And so that's the beauty. And we're going to choose members first, right? When we can. So if you're on here as a guest, we're going to encourage you to become a member of Queen City Women in Business for this and more perks. More questions in the chat. We have a few minutes to take some questions, LaPronda. Do we have any questions from anyone who wants to come off mute and ask a question? Because everyone's praising you in the chat, just so you know, they absolutely love this. They absolutely love it. Any questions from any of the women live? If you want to come off mute and ask her a question or say thank you. LaPronda, thank you, first of all, for taking your time. Because let me tell y'all, LaPronda's not free. LaPronda picks and chooses where she shows up. And when I got with you a few months ago to plan this, she was like, okay, Dawn Nicole, for you. So I appreciate you so much. You've always been just one of my rock stars. You still are. She's the best at what she does, you all. Reach out to her. Any final questions before we come to a close, ladies? Who's excited? Who's ready to ride? Right? Like, get this picture. Like, we're excited. Even
Please
call
join
you.
me. It's so much money up here, y'all. It's an easy way to get to 6 figures, especially if you're struggling.
It really is. It really is. And I'm calling you right after, just so you know.
Awesome.
Right after. But ladies, was this good? This was our second one, and so far it's smoking hot, right? Smoking. Like, we keep learning new things. Awesome. LaPronda, there was a question that we had about the difference between, someone had asked about the difference between the DBE and the hub. And I think you covered that, but can you just clarify that? Because I think people tend to group the hub and the DBE.
That's a great question, whoever asked that. Hub is state agencies that fall under the umbrella of the state, except for the Department of Transportation. The Department of Transportation has its own entity separate because they have so many federal dollars tied to it. And they focus strictly on all modes of transportation: highways and roads, airports, the ferry, railways, and the ports. So they only handle that side. On the DBE side, ACDBE side, state is every other agency under that umbrella outside of DOT.
Wonderful. Any more questions before we come to a close on this rainy Saturday?
Dawn Nicole, I think I know I didn't have my hand up, but I think there was another individual that had her hand up. I pretty much wanted to praise LaPronda for this amazing talk. I'm Sandra Hardy. I'm one of the ambassadors of Queen City Women in Business, and I have several of my referrals on here. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome.
And so I'm just grateful for that. And for those who don't really know the acronyms, and we're still learning the acronyms, that the one that where we can work for you for that you're getting dollars free, it was the MBDA. Can you give the verbiage for that so that they can?
MBDA is not, so that's the Minority Business Development Agency. That's the program that the state hub office has for me to work with minority-owned businesses. However, for those of you who are white females, I do not turn you away. Elizabeth will tell you I will give you every resource I can find to help. Because while you may not fit under this program, I'm still going to connect you with the agencies that can. And I'll also support you in making sure that you have access to the decision makers, because the biggest thing is getting to the gatekeepers and the decision makers, because you need to be in a room, and they are not at networking events eating chicken wings and wine. Can I stress that enough?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'm co-signing with you, LaPronda. I'm saying we've all been through that daisy chain, and it doesn't really work.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yes. So listen to Dawn on that. It may be a waste of your time. So Sandra, yes, MBDA is Minority Business Development Agency.
Thank you so much. And I too will be on there in the email with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies. LaPronda, if there's anything you want to send me before I send out the thank you email, I'll sync with you real fast. And ladies, thank you for giving up this Saturday. Let's clap it up one more time for LaPronda. We love LaPronda. This is probably my favorite so far. It's just the second.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I did the one last week, so of course this is.
Well, you know.
Well, no, but but I always learn from others as well, so I love it.
Can I ask one quick question, real quick?
Yes, Jennifer.
Oh, you do it with me.
I know it's you.
So the new certification that we found out about, is that also going to be considered underneath this
Jennifer,
for the
no.
Okay.
She doesn't know. So I'm getting ready to call her and tell her the news. That was
Oh,
breaking
okay,
hot news.
okay.
Nobody else knows about it yet.
Okay,
But the
okay,
people
okay.
that was on the master class. But I'm gonna call you right now, LaPronda, as soon as we hang up. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.